all the latest for you here on Colts Talk presented by Prize Picks. Billy Beebe with you. We're going to go over some questions for the Colts before they begin minicamp. Tomorrow it gets going for Indianapolis. They're done with their OTA practices. Now it's on to minicamp. Also, Brendan Sorsby, the biggest story in college football, really, will not be in Indianapolis coming up. We're going to explain why and really why the Colts are connected at all to a guy that was going back to college football / supplemental draft, all that. We'll get to the Sorsby stuff, but first we do want to start with the mini camp questions for the Colts. You guys loved all the stuff we did for OTAs, winners, losers, reports, all that. So we will do all the same for minicamp. We'll talk minicamp and all that. But we did get ESPN asking a question or questions about every team before they begin minicamps. Some teams actually are already in minicamps. It's kind of weird. If you have a brand new coach, you're allowed to start earlier than other teams. So some teams you'll hear are done with mini camps, or they'll start something later or whatnot. So, other teams are still in OTA. So there's a lot going on there in general. Now, the mini camps will begin tomorrow. What is the question from ESPN about the Colts? How are the new defensive players fitting in for Indianapolis? There's three main players to discuss that go along with that one. But yeah, basically noting hey, the offense hasn't changed a ton for Indy. Couple big moves on defense. How's that looking? Stephen Holder of ESPN kind of breaking it down a little bit. The Colts remained largely intact on offense, but they've experienced significant turnover on defense. They'll have at least 5 new starters, including several very young players. One of those players, Holder mentions, among those is middle linebacker C.J. Allen, a second-round pick who is expected to be charged with taking calls from the sideline and running the defensive huddle. So yes, of the changes, C.J. Allen, the Colts' first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, first team All-SEC in 2025, their first pick, but a second rounder, really was projected to be a first rounder for months. And the draft got a little closer, felt like he was dropping, and then on draft day, the first 2 days, he was dropping. The Colts jump in, the Colts take advantage, and the word from day one, although the Colts have walked it back since the draft, the initial draft, they immediately were like, yeah, he'll wear the green dot and lead this defense. Then slowly they were like, yeah, you got to earn that actually, and we have to figure out. But yeah, it seems like the Colts very confident in C.J. Allen. I will note his one weakness, you can see not the best in coverage, was noted in all his scouting, all his draft stuff, that little bit of a weakness there on the coverage stuff. But other than that, I mean, the leader of Georgia's defense under Kirby Smart, I think that says a lot about him. And now he projects to be the starting middle linebacker for your Indianapolis Colts in 2025. With that being said, how confident are you in C.J. Allen as a starter? He will basically take that Zaire Franklin role, right? Be the leader of this defense, be the guy on this defense leading them. How confident are you in C.J. Allen? Scale it for me, 1 to 10. Get down in the comment section. Let us know. So yeah, as I stated, as Holder stated, as Ballard's hinted, as Anarumo has hinted, Allen is on track to start for the Colts in 2026, despite being, second round, I always think floats around starter or impact player, but definitely for sure, C.J. Allen is projected to be a starter, and he's going to play a major role. If you're not familiar with the term, green dot is like the quarterback of the defense, taking the plays, getting it to the defense, letting them know where everyone should be, how they're supposed to be, and of course, a lot of the defensive schemes and how they handle another team's offense can begin with that middle linebacker position, depending on how the other team's built, depending on how your defense is built. But it's an important role that C.J. Allen is going to play in 2026. I'll tell you now, there's going to be growing pains here. There is. It's a rookie middle linebacker on a team that expects to compete, right? Lou Anarumo is not developing this defense. Allen's taking over this defense, right? He's going to jump in and do it. I will note, though, one thing that makes me feel good in general about C.J. Allen being the middle linebacker on this team. This is a veteran defense, okay? A lot of, yeah, Stephen Holder noted 5 new names, some young names on there, but a lot of guys that have played a lot of football in the NFL that'll be in that huddle with them. Should be helpful. I'm very excited to see C.J. Allen minicamp, another opportunity for us to get a good look at the rookie middle linebacker. Prize Picks. That is the sponsor of today's show. We appreciate Prize Picks. They're the reason we can bring you Colts Talk for free. They're one of our sponsors, and we appreciate them for that. They're sponsoring today's video. They are America's #1 sports picks app, so you can win cash while watching sports. How great is that? If you talk about the lineups, I was just talking to a friend of mine, said, more of a baseball guy, I don't need to I said, They have baseball on here. You just pick more or less on a few player stats like you would other sports and then lock in your lineup. I showed them hits, home runs, strikeouts. That was baseball. Then I showed them basketball, right? It's points, it's rebounds, assists, blocks, three-pointers. Then we got to football. I showed them the most recent lineup going around chat sports a little bit here. My guy, producer AP, put this one together. This is for some of the, what project to be wide receiver one for their teams, right? That's why we went more on Chris Olave. His receiving yards, he's trying to get a new contract as well, so that's going to pay off for him. CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys have big expectations. It will start and matter to CeeDee Lamb. We're going more on his receiving yards as well, and we'll finish with Jamar Chase, who I also expect the Bengals to have a big year in general. 3 receivers, more, right? That's all we had to do to put that lineup together. Super easy to put together. And if you don't even want to put it together, you just want to copy it, fine. Follow us with the new social feeds feature. Share prize picks with your friends. Copy the lineups with a single click. That includes me or producer AP at Billy_BB at CSAP. Fade our picks, tail our picks, get them before we even have them on the show. Also, right now on Prize Picks, we have a new user offer. So if you download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comment section and description, then use code HMA, you'll get $50 in lineups after you use your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. From one rookie to another, AJ Haulcy. Another steal of the draft, right? We kind of felt like the Colts really found something there, and a guy I thought would be more towards the second round. They got him in the third. Pretty exciting there. Very good player at LSU. Again, SEC defense, right? Playing big roles there. Holder noting the situation with A.J. Haulcy, another possible rookie starter, third-round choice, who appears to have the inside track at replacing Nick Cross, who is a big-time contributor for Indianapolis. And look, that may play out to be a big loss for Indy. All going to come down to Haulcy, right? This is a guy, Holder expects him to start. I did not necessarily. I kind of was more like wait back and see what we get. And, we initially were hearing like special teams and like not sure if he's a free safety or a strong safety, but that's changed. I mean, we're just at the point now where it seems like Buddy's the good fit for the free safety position for the Colts coming up here in 2026. He rose up the ranks in college football from New Mexico, Houston, LSU, and again, was a big-time contributor for LSU. And look, here's the situation with Haulcy. I have to apologize. We did a top 10 off-season additions video. I didn't have him on there, and I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong on that. He should have been on there. A couple of you noted, which is, look, sometimes that's why we like to do the videos. You guys let us know what you think. I do a little more research. Bang, there it is. Like, it was good stuff in general. Also, shout out producer Aiden Priest. We finished that video. He's like, I think you forgot Haulcy. I'm like, dang. But here we are. Have his moment now, right? Looks like he's going to start for the Colts at safety. And again, Nick Cross has big shoes to fill, but they're confident in C.J. Allen to have a starting role. Seems like they may have the same confidence in A.J. Haulcy. And again, you see he's set up, for the strong safety position. I like Cam Bynum. Again, I really love the idea of like a good veteran player with experience that can sit with him and like teach him how it should be, how they should be running things, what he should be able to do at that safety role. I'll also note the Colts have brought in multiple new names such as Wanye Thomas, Jonathan Owens. They have safety depth, so God forbid it doesn't work out with Haulcy or it's not quite translating well. They can go to Owens, they can go to Thomas or Hunter Wooler, who's also getting healthy as well at that strong safety position. The question is, will Haulcy be a starter? Should Haulcy be a starter for Indianapolis in 2026? You tell me. Type your S if you think he's going to start. Type your B if he'll start. A bench role player. I don't want to say like bench him, but, not a starter, essentially. Type your Bs. Can he become a starter? Let us know down below. Now we're moving off rookies to young players. Justin Wally, this is the nickel position we've talked so much about. Wally really lost his rookie year. I mean, you could say he's a rookie, right? In the NBA, they define him. He'd be up for Rookie of the Year in the NBA. So in the NFL, different story. But Holder noted, also worth monitoring, potential starting nickel corner, Justin Wally. Good training camp last year. That's been the constant narrative is dude was cooking in training camp last year and then tore the ACL. They had a lot of confidence in him coming out of Minnesota as somebody that could possibly, I don't think they meant for it last year, but I do think they thought in the future he could replace Kenny Moore as a nickel corner option for the Colts in general. And so here we are. The latest with Justin Wally off the torn ACL. Has been cleared for 3 weeks to participate. He's been a part of everything the Colts have done, offseason voluntary workouts, voluntary OTAs, and now mandatory, I should add. Nobody that seems like will miss for the Colts, but I should add it's mandatory now, minicamp for Indianapolis. And the nickel options, the competing options, we did see Wyatt Eckler was let go by the Colts last week. So Wally's got the leg up. Cam Mitchell's more of a special teamer, but he's got a little bit of time at corner in the NFL. Jayonte McMillan and Austin Brown are both undrafted free agents. They'll compete for, to make the team. Not necessarily to start, but they are one of the options as they're both very versatile players. They played inside and outside at the corner position. So we will have an eye on the nickel position for Indianapolis. We've also had our eye on Brendan Sorsby, one of the biggest stories in college football. If you're not familiar, you can actually go back and watch the video we did not too long ago. There's some gambling stuff here. Sorsby came out and revealed all his gambling tendencies, gambled on Indiana football when he was there, checked himself into gambling rehab. He's now out. We broke down the whole law situation. He was basically suing the NCAA, trying to remain in college football. Otherwise, he would go to the supplemental draft, which does not happen too often. And then essentially like one or two players, it was just going to be Sorsby, and then teams would bid your pick the next year to get your hands on whatever player it is. So the Colts would say, we'll give our second rounder next year to have Sorsby. That has changed. Historic, and I don't want to get into a college football conversation right now. Historic day in college football. A judge in District Court in Lubbock County, Texas, has granted the injunction requested by Sorsby. He's set to be eligible for college football in 2026. He will serve a 2-game suspension for it. Look, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, like, what's going on here? Why does this matter to the Colts? Valid question. Number one, this is like one of the biggest stories in college football and was like linked to the NFL just a little bit. But Sorsby was going to be a huge name, potential second or third round value, but he was going to be a supplemental pick, which changes everything. It's a whole different animal, whole different bag. Indy was going to have to at least consider this guy. They were going to have to look because the supplemental draft's tricky. Okay, yes, you are essentially giving up a pick for a Brendan Sorsby, right? Like straight up, just your pick next year, give him up for Sorsby. However, a whole year, people get to scout more and become more interested and see more from Sorsby. Instead, the Colts or whatever team was going to take him could have gotten him right away in the supplemental draft for possibly less than they would have in an actual draft pick. The supplemental draft can be useful, right? You can take advantage of it. You can also lose out on it. Another year, Sorsby might have proved himself to be a 5th, 6th round pick. You gave up a 3rd. I think Indy, other teams, the Buccaneers, I think. The Jets definitely seem like a team interested. Cleveland had rumors around Sorsby. Teams were interested in Sorsby as a supplemental pick. I also think, while I'm happy Daniel Jones is back, happy Daniel Jones is healthy, Daniel Jones is on a 2-year contract for a reason. I think A is the health, B is the Colts are unsure who he is and what he is, right? He's had 1 or 2 good years in a 9-year, 8-year NFL career. They're still trying to figure out if he's the guy. I fully expect, even if Daniel Jones were to have a great season and they win a playoff game or two, I expect the Colts to start looking for their quarterback of the future, right? Looking at that Jackson Dart-ish late first rounder, mid-second rounder. And I think Sorsby was one of those guys that they thought, hey, maybe we can just get it now, start developing, and figure out the rest later. However, that depends on how good you think Daniel Jones will be and if you believe he'll be here in the future. We'll talk 2026. That's the big thing here. Jones has a contract for 2027. However, will Daniel Jones be the Colts quarterback in 2027? Essentially, this time next year, do you believe Daniel Jones will still be the guy for the Colts? Type Y for yes, type N for no.